Hello, my dearest students. In today's video, we are going to discuss the poem A Tiger in the Zoo, written by Leslie Norris. Make sure you watch this video until the end because we are going to discuss the entire poem in depth, the literary devices, as well as the theme of the poem. So, the poem has in total 5 stanzas, and the rhyming scheme in most of the stanzas is A, B, C, D type of rhyming scheme, where the second and the fourth line they rhyme cage, rage, grass, pass, edge, village, except for this, which is an A, B, C, D type of rhyming scheme, and the last again cars and stars. So this is the rhyming scheme followed, and the main theme that the poem touches upon is freedom, compassion, and the inhuman treatment of humans towards animals. Let's go to the first stanza. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. So here, in the beginning itself, personification is used. Personification is a figure of speech where an animal or a bird or a non-human is given human-like traits. So that figure of speech is called personification. Usually animals are called it. Maybe the poet wants us to understand that animals are also just like us and they also have feelings similar to us. Okay, let's begin. He stalks in his vivid stripes. So vivid means bright. So here in the first stanza, they're talking about the appearance of the tiger. So they're saying he follows in bright stripes the few steps of the cage. So when we read this line, we get to know that the tiger is in a small caged, in a very confined or enclosed space that restricts his movement. So I have written various synonyms of the sentence, so you can use any while you write the answers in the exam. So here we get to know that the tiger is in a small enclosed space or a confined space which restricts his movement. So he's in a cage. On pads of velvet quiet. So here metaphor is used where the paws of the tiger is compared to velvet because of the smoothness and the softness of the paws which makes no noise when the tiger walks. In his quiet rage. So if you see here, an oxymoron is used. Now oxymoron is a figure of speech where two opposite words or opposite meaning of the words are put together. Like for example, sometimes they say, no, the silence was too loud. So that is also an oxymoron. So here, quiet rage means it talks about the suppressed anger that the tiger had, mostly because of helplessness, because a wild animal is put in cages and he feels helpless. Another literary device that is used in the stanza is imagery. Now, imagery is a figure of speech where you tend to imagine the situation. So here, if you see, he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage. So you can imagine a bright striped tiger trying to move a little bit in the small enclosed cage. So that is imagery. So I hope the first stanza is clear. Let's move to the second stanza. So in the next stanza, the poet says that the tiger is not meant to be put in cages, but he should be lurking in shadows. The tiger should be hidden in shadows, sliding through long grass. So if you know, the primal urge of a tiger is to conceal itself in long grasses, and when a prey is someone who the predator eats. So predator is the person who eats, prey is the one who is being eaten. So this is the natural habitat of the tiger, where he stays hidden in a shadow, concealing himself in long grasses near the water, like a river, where plump deer pass, so that it can catch its prey quickly and pounce on it and eat it. So these are the natural instincts that a tiger has. That is why God has bestowed him with quiet paws so that it can run and catch its prey. So here in this stanza, the literary device, apart from personification, is alliteration. Alliteration is the same consonant sound in the beginning of the word. So here S sound and here the P sound is included. So that is alliteration. Even in the second and in the third stanza, imagery is used where we are able to imagine the situation and visualize the scene. The next stanza also talks about if the animal was in the wild, if the animal was free, then what it would do. He should be snarling around houses. So, snarling means this aggressive growling which is done with bared teeth. Sometimes we even see dogs doing that when they are aggressive, right? So, when the sound of an animal is included in the poem, that is called an onomatopoeia. So, here snarling makes the figure of speech here onomatopoeia. Sometimes in poems we say the duck goes quack, so that the animal sound is added there. So that is onomatopoeia. I hope that is clear. So they are saying he should be growling with bared teeth around houses that are situated at the jungle's edge. So near the forest edge, bearing his white fangs. Fangs means teeth. His claws, that is his sharp nails, terrorizing the village, scaring the residents of that village. So this stanza tells us that the tiger is a wild and untamed beast, and its natural instinct is to growl and scare or induce fear in the people who live near the jungle, where they roam around at night and scare the people. But he's locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars. But unfortunately, he's confined in a structurally strong cage. His strength behind bars. So, even if the tiger is a very strong animal, he is controlled or his power is restricted and he feels helpless or powerless. Stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. But what is he left doing? Just walking about in that small confined space, ignoring visitors. So there is a stark contrast to his natural instinct, where if you saw in the previous stanza, he is naturally supposed to scare the people and growl and snarl at them. But here, what does he end up doing? Ignoring the visitors as he feels powerless or he feels controlled. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with a bright eye at the bright stars. So, the last voice at night he hears is the cars moving about, and he stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So, here symbolism is used where the cage that symbolizes captivity, where is put in cage, and the sky symbolizes freedom. So in the previous stanza, if you see concrete cell shows alliteration, same beginning consonant sound. And here there is symbolism. It shows the artificial environment that the tiger is in, which is not meant for him to listen to the patrolling of the cars. And he was supposed to be under the brilliant stars, open and free. But unfortunately, he's in a cage and he hopes to be free someday. So he seeks freedom. So in this, the tiger feels pain, despair, frustration, agony. And the poet warns us to be compassionate towards such beings and give them freedom. So these are some synonyms that you can write instead of the word cage, cage all the time. The tiger was behind bars. The tiger was imprisoned in this small enclosed space. Now let's look at the theme of the poem. When wild animals are kept in zoo, which is in captivity, they are in stark contrast to their natural habitat. They are exactly opposite to their natural habitat. They lose their primal urge. What is their primal urge? To run and pounce and tear their prey. And their freedom of movement is controlled. Humans are deriving pleasure and entertainment at the cost of other animals. So, just for our pleasure, for our happiness, for our entertainment, we are putting them behind bars, which is very selfish of us humans, showing cruelty of humans for their own selfish motives. It shows. The poet wants us to be compassionate and understand the pain, frustration, and helplessness the animal feels in such confined spaces or artificial environments. So, this poem is like an eye opener to us. The poem teaches us a lesson that we should let the animals be in their natural habitat, which is free and wild. It was such a beautiful poem. I hope you enjoyed the explanation. If you haven't subscribed, please do it right now. I'll be grateful to you. Study well, and until we meet next time, God bless.